The Halo universe is filled with wonder, mystery, and fascinating discoveries around every corner. With so much to explore, four friends decided it was about time that they booted up their consoles and discussed this universe that has grabbed their attention since childhood. JumperScape Audio kindly welcomes you to join them in the library.
Everybody, welcome back to The Library, the show where we talk about Halo lore, and I'm still being held down by this furball, but I'm not upset about it. I've simply been chosen.
I would be upset just because I am allergic.
Well, take meds.
That seems like you problem.
I have meds, I just never bring them.
My friends, JumperScape.com for anything that you might want to see or do, support us, find more of our shows, head over there. You'll find everything, including our Discord. Before we hop in, we've already talked about this. We've talked about the prophets before, but it was a little bit different. I was telling you about folks like Laud Moran, otherwise known as the Prophet of Regret, which is so funny because it's so close to Laud Moran.
Laud Moran.
Ord Casto, my personal favorite Sentium name, and the Prophet of Truth, as well as Had Rumt, the Prophet of Mercy. And we talked a whole lot about them and their origin stories, talked about the Prophet of Truth actually being involved with trying to stop the Kig-Yard jackals from poisoning the Ungoi grunts. And Ord Casto being like, if you don't stop it, it's gonna be bad. And then presto,
It's bad.
a grunt rebellion.
He's like, hold on now.
Ord Casto was based one time.
One time.
They outnumber us.
I would argue all the time, but that's fine.
Well, we're going to talk about a little bit of what about their perspectives is based, because that's what I really wanted to get into. This isn't just about the prophets. This is about the prophets and the depictions of their delusion. There's a couple other updates to get into, but stick around to the end of our conversation here and we'll get a little bit more into it. So, the prophets. Their purpose has changed over the years, actually. It's had two different depictions. Obviously because of 343 and how they portrayed the Reclaimers and Forerunners and all of that.
That old studio.
That old studio. Man, it's been I miss
so
them,
long.
you know? You know, back when they made Halo, that was crazy.
That was insane.
Wild times.
Totally different company these days. I mean, technically, yeah, but you know.
It's not fun online right now.
No.
It's never fun on Halo social media.
No.
Never is.
When do we have fun playing online games when we're playing competitive shooters?
Well, online games, I have plenty of fun because I'm twisted, but online social media, no. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's just not. It's not my thing. I can't do it. That's why you took the social media segment on Chatternet and I didn't, because I can't do it. I can't mentally take it. It's so annoying. It's so useless all the time.
Well, I can confirm for you all, it sucks.
Speaking of it sucks, the Santium, the prophets. So talking about their delusions, I actually got into a debate like 2 months ago, maybe by this point, with someone in the Halo HQ Discord. It was someone who's really into lore. I don't remember who they were, but they were there, and they presented an interesting problem to me that I had not considered or even thought of really, which was that the purpose of the prophets and their intentions, their motivations really, has changed. And in their perspective, that change is actually detrimental to their character, because they went from just straight zealousness, like they could choose to not attack humanity, but they are attacking humanity anyway because of their religious zealousness. But then there's the opposite side of the coin now, where we have the new story, where basically they have to kill humanity in order to kind of cover up their screw up, basically, that like the Covenant religion is completely false. I'm not entirely sure if I vibe with the original quote unquote concept. It takes a whole lot, in my opinion, of mental acrobatics to get there, because you would kind of have to get rid of a lot what happens in Contact Harvest, where the mendicant bias AI comes online and he's just like, this is not reclamation, this is reclaimer, and attempts to go make contact with humanity, but then there are too many hunter worms in the engines and he dies. So because I don't want to get into the debate of what the original intentions were, this is more of perspectives. A walk through Halo Combat Evolved, even though they're not there, Halo 2 and Halo 3, on what would have been more compelling. The way that they did it, where it's just humanity's got to go. It's the will of the gods. They got to go. We were told this. We're the ones to take on the great journey, and these guys are trying to step on our shoes. Or the other side of the coin being, oh crap, these guys are direct proof that we are liars. We got to take these guys out immediately. Because the big thing, of course, with the Covenant, especially with the elites were super confused about this, as said in the books. They were really confused about why the humans were not even given a chance to join the Covenant, because it wasn't really a question before. Any species they came across, they were at least given an option, but the humans weren't.
I never even thought of that.
Right here on camera, Cat? Really? Shane, what are you doing?
Can we just pay attention to the fact that they made like a little oopsie and their only solution was just genocide?
That's kind of how the Covenant rolls, ain't gonna lie.
See, I personally don't know if I like the cover-up angle.
Okay, so why is that?
Motivationally, if you think about the end goal being the great journey, it just feels unbelievable that they would take it to the lengths of killing everything in the universe just to not be a liar.
That's the thing. That's the part that gets debated is, are the prophets just delusional by that point? Are they?
I mean, probably.
Like with their head so far up their ass, they have no idea that what they're doing is actually killing them.
Maybe they're suicidal.
Maybe, but probably not. They want San Shayum by nature, at least the reformists or whatever they're called. They want power. What is it? The Stoics and I'm gonna guess it was the reformists. The reformists wanted power. The not the cast-offs. The Stoics wanted just to respect Forerunner religion and its technology, but the reformists were like, nah, we should use the whole ship and nothing but the ship, and end up leaving. And when they leave, they take a chunk of their home planet with them, which is just wild. And by the time that they've run into the Sangheili has been, I mean, they have their own religious thing going on, and they were able to convince the Sangheili after a very long battle to just kind of be like, well, what if you did believe in the great journey? And they're like, I never thought of it that way.
I would have loved to see that battle.
It would be certainly interesting. There's a couple depictions you can find in the terminals. That's about it, though.
I don't think we have any depictions of the Sang Shayum people fighting, do we? Like in video?
The terminals have a couple scenes, only a few. Most of the time, you're going to find it in
My favorite terminal
books.
is when the Sangheili deliver them a pile of Sanshium heads.
Yeah, and they're just here's the diplomats. And then the Sanshium just reasonably so.
That's kind of what they do. They just kind of go,
just, oh my gosh. Why? Which for the Sanshium, that's actually a big deal, because their whole grasp for power makes a whole lot of sense when you see how limited their numbers are. They are extremely limited. They have to actually be specific in how they reproduce, even, because you have to get the right genes out there, because the problem that you can run into is inbreeding. There's not enough of them for enough genetic diversity. So they could end up getting deformities such as, hunchbacks and somewhat being crippled.
Hover chairs.
Hover chairs.
They'll make great office workers.
They would. We've seen a couple Stoics though in the past. I don't remember their names, but there was a character that was a what's called a prelude, or not prelate. It's a prelate. Basically, Sanshium super soldiers.
Yeah.
Baller. This character, like, she is fantastic. She's a really fun character to read about. I'm pretty sure she shows up in a couple of the Ryan Forge books, the Ace of Spades trilogy. If I'm wrong, correct me in the book club discussion. I'm wrong quite frequently, my friends. I just like to get disproven by those that I can trust. So I very much appreciate all the corrections and such, especially in the comments. I read all of them, by the way, every single one of them. There's quite a few of people that have been commenting recently, giving all sorts of different perspectives and such. There was one guy, though, who commented on episode 1 of this show.
I was going to bring that up.
Yeah.
I don't think I've heard about this, have I?
No.
He corrected a fact that was said in the first episode, when we all had no idea what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Still don't sometimes, but back then especially.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I was still actually right is the thing. Because he's basically saying, like, you got the origins of the Forerunners wrong. And I'm like, not really. I mean, they were the lesser of the two species, humans and Forerunners. They were made of each other, the same thing. So that's where I got my whole conclusion. And especially because there's something else that I read. I have not read it in a long time, so I would not be able to tell you what the source is. But my conclusion was that the Forerunners...
My source? I made it up.
My source is...
My source? Trust me, bro.
My conclusion was that the Forerunners were a slave race, and they wanted to take power from the precursors because humanity was set to take the mantle of responsibility, and that made the Forerunners jealous. So they rose up and took out the precursors. I'm fairly certain that's correct, but I'm always willing to be debated on. It's always a good time. I enjoy it very much. But it was very funny, though, that the person joined in on episode 1 and was like, I cannot believe this. You made this whole show. And I'm like, brother, it's episode 1.
I'm noticing a little theme.
Yeah.
If you are wrong, genocide. If you go against our will or what we want, genocide.
Yeah, they just kind of be like that.
A lot of genocide going around in these parts.
So that's my whole thing, is that, like, this show is a little different. It's not like somebody sitting in there pre-scripted, pre-recorded. Everything is there. They have all their sources right there. This is very much on the fly. This is not going to be an Installation 00 video. However,
guys, what page are we on?
Huh?
What page are we on?
Oh, I'm sorry, page 69.
Thanks.
But yeah, repping Installation 00 today, despite that fact.
Cool design.
I know, right? It's just his logo.
Cool. I like the neon. It glows.
He had some neat designs coming in soon. I'm not exactly sure how we got the transparency on this shirt. I'm not going to lie to you.
Maybe it's class.
Connor. What a guy.
Nah, I'm going too far with this one.
I have no idea what to even do with that one. Like, I don't have a punchline. That's just what it is. Okay. Shane's right. We have to get back on topic.
Yes, thank you, Shane.
So pretty much trying to get into the topic of what was the prophet's purpose, what was their goal. I can agree that it does step on some toes to make it so that it's just they're trying to make up for their mistake, because it would be really confusing to think that someone would take their delusion so far as to just wipe everything out, including themselves, out of the belief that the AI was just wrong or something, even though it's coming from the Forerunners. However, it wouldn't be the first time that the Sanshium were just like, that's not what he said, bro.
Wait.
Like, let's say, for example, we have many examples of saying Healy specifically just being like, bro, this is important stuff. And so in Halo Wars, we have the Arbiter Ripa Morami. Very cool guy.
Ripa Morami off.
I guess you won't be seeing any more of me. I love those videos so much. Carbine. So in Halo Wars, we have Ripper Moramy talking to the Prophet of
I
Regret.
am orbiting because I am the orbiter.
Please stop. I think that's what he says in the end there. So he's talking to the Prophet of Regret, and Regret is like, good job securing the site, Arbiter. Now set the charges and destroy this place. And Arbiter's like, destroy the holy relic? Surely you can't be. And he's like, the journey requires sacrifice.
Weren't we just trying to save this?
Yeah, like Regret is just out here just kind of being sort of a maniacal bastard.
I mean, he's Regret.
I mean, a little later.
He regrets things.
He's the young, foolish one, too. Even in Contact Harvest, the book where he's first introduced as like a character chronologically, you're looking at that story from the perspective of Ward Casto, Prophet of Truth, and Truth describes Mercy as an old decrepit man who barely has his head on straight, and Regret a pompous young one that aspires for something way above his position, even though he's not prepared for it. It was actually a pretty accurate description, but Truth is like, these are my co-workers.
I do not like them, but they are here.
I certainly hope that one day I may have an opportunity to kill them.
No.
It just floats away. So with the Sangheili and the Sanshium especially, they have a long history of just completely disagreeing on how Forerunners should be handled and their technology, and that was no exception. The Sanshium, it makes no sense to me how it wasn't very obvious for a lot of those in the Covenant that the Sanshium had some form of other purpose when they just kept on destroying Forerunner artifacts and stuff.
As one does.
By the third one, we should have questioned it.
Because they were supposed to respect them. They had these things called luminarial beacons that were basically able to use slip space travel to track down Forerunner stuff and travel through space with more efficiency. There's not a lot of details on what the beacons do, but luminaries are the things that they use to actually locate things just flat out. It has locations that are marked on a map on where certain Forerunner artifacts are. It's not like the Janus key where it just shows everything in the galaxy and you can just go there. It's everything that the Forerunners have ever created, which is wild. Who categorized that? But it's still important. And by the time that they hit like the first part of the war, I'm pretty sure they lost all of the luminarial beacons, which was like, there was only 3 of them. They lost them immediately.
Darn.
Because humans were just vengeful little critters.
Yeah, and war bridges tend to go first.
Yeah. And it gets even more confusing when we have characters who attempted to actually side with the Covenant and try to join. We've had many cases of insurrectionists like the Rebel try to sign on with the Jackals, and the Jackals are just, they're pirates, so it didn't really go over very well. Castell pulls up with his fleet and it's just like, what are you doing? Or in the case of, let's say, there was in The Flood, the novel, there's some of Captain Keyes' crew attempts to try to make contact with the Covenant after they've been shot down because they believe that they can broker peace. And they give the location of where Alpha Base is and all of that, and immediately the elites are like, thanks. It just starts killing all of them.
An entire base.
It's so wild. So there's interesting things with that where it's not just the Prophet's delusion, it's the Covenant's delusion. The entirety of that religion is nothing but delusion. You have to really trick yourself into thinking that something like the Great Journey, which had been proven wrong, granted late, everyone who was not the prophets, I can understand where they're at, because they've had up until this point grandiose, massive examples of Forerunner power. The ship that is powering High Charity is Forerunner. Their weapons are integrated with Forerunner tech. Their ships are integrated with Forerunner tech. Like, they have proof right there that the Forerunners were there, and they have reason to believe that the prophets are telling the truth, until they get the proof that they need that it's false. And as soon as there's some dissent, the prophets are like, wow, we need to kill them immediately.
Well, we're not the ones to do this.
So I don't know. I think what I probably would have appreciated a little bit more is some expansion on that, because I can imagine that it would have been really fun to do stuff like Sesso Rafumi, the elite from Halo 2 that's the heretic leader. If there was more of him. I do like that they brought him back for the Halo 2 anniversary terminals to give a little bit of extra context so that it's not just, let's stop talking, let's shoot each other. Because he really does just kind of do that out of nowhere without the context. The context of the terminals doesn't exactly help, because Guilty Spark is basically like, well, why not tell your friends about how this is all a lie? And Sess is like, he is the arbiter now. Do you not understand that is way too far? Even though it's like Thel is in the process of being disillusioned. So he could have probably been turned by Sessa easily. But we didn't really get that, unfortunately. So in terms of the storyline and how the prophets are handled, I can actually agree a little bit more after kind of talking about it with the guy that I was having a debate with in the Halo HQ server, because it does make very little sense, honestly, that the prophets would just be like, oh no, and try to cover up their mistakes by just annihilating the human race. Especially since you're just kind of creating dissent for yourself. The Sangheili were very much aware, especially with growing awareness across the entirety of the fleets, that the humans were formidable and should have been given a chance to join. And they actually believed during the middle of the war that they should have been given a chance to join, because the Ungoi fought the Covenant, and they, after being defeated, were allowed to join. But the humans, it was complete and total eradication. It wasn't just defeat them on a certain front and then have them join. It was find their homeworlds, find their address, find their zip code, kill them.
Genocide.
Genocide.
Regicide.
Oh, I want that back.
Me too.
Oh. So I honestly by this point now agree with you, James, on a lot of this, just because it would make a whole lot more sense if the prophets were just outright zealous. They really did believe that the Forerunner's intention was for them to kill the humans. And I suppose I could get into a deeper debate at some point in the future with somebody about whether or not the scene from Contact Harvest, where it's, this is not reclamation, this is reclaimer, can be spun around to them still being zealous. But it does kind of just seem like, oh no, Casto, what do we do? Well, brother, I don't know.
So the way I see it is they were very overzealous, and then while they're trying to fix their mistakes, they got killed.
It kind of seems that way.
That's how I see it, as like the very basic understanding.
Because they ended up getting into this situation against their will, because they didn't want to run into the humans, obviously. And they didn't know about them until 2525. And then once they made final contact and this war begins, which didn't have to begin. It's the circumstances of the war starting is like a complete accident. Because it was the chieftain Maccabeus, that's right, a brute, made first contact with humanity. Oh. Technically, the first contact was 3 jackals on a dormant ship that were ambushed by Sergeant Johnson and another soldier that was a buddy of his. But that was not first contact technically, because they just killed the jackals.
Jackals aren't cool.
No, they're not. The brute chieftain Maccabeus, though. Cool. He had a very philosophical way of looking at things, and when he saw that humanity was on this planet that was marked as something reclaimer, he was rather curious about what they're doing there. So he landed his troops and arranged this meeting with the sort of like the town mayor of sorts. I don't remember his name. I just remember that he's described as having like a lion's mane sort of hair, and he's Lutheran. That's all I remember of him.
Yeah, Lutheran.
And so they meet, and things are fine, but the problem is that when there was a problem where a grunt off in the distance, there were soldiers positioned everywhere because they had a local militia on Harvest that Johnson trained himself. And this militia, one of the militiamen, ended up getting attacked physically by a grunt, like fisticuffs. And that's not something you want, because grunts are actually really tall and really strong.
Yeah, we got to remember that.
Yeah, they can rip arms off of people. Like they're tough.
I wonder how much a grunt could bench.
Probably way more than you would ever expect.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess like 2 times their body weight.
How much do they weigh?
I don't know.
We gotta look this up.
So this grunt physically attacks this soldier, and the soldier fires around. So when he fires around, that's what sets off the conflict. Everything goes downhill from there. And it was just happened to be perfectly timed with the prophets finding out, like this happens almost at the same time. The prophets find out that humanity is set to be the reclaimers for Forerunner technology. And instead of being like, well, let's see what they have to say, they're just, Maccabeus, kill them. And Maccabeus is like, but no, I don't understand. These people are fine. And then, unfortunately, Tartarus, his nephew, ends up challenging Maccabeus to a 1v1 on
This is my chance.
And so Tartarus steps up and just absolutely mollywops my guy. He like takes him out. No challenge whatsoever, basically. Tartarus decimates Maccabeus. And so when Tartarus takes over, the fight becomes a whole lot more intense. Tartarus is a much more brutal. Anyone who has played Halo 2, you already know the guy is ruthless. And so the fight begins from there. And Tartarus was aware of the fact that the Sanshium were looking to replace the Sangheli. It was actually a plan that he helped set in motion with Truth. It wasn't something that was made last minute. Very early on, there was conversation that the Sanshium were aware that the Sangheli were starting to grow a brain cell and realized that this descent that they had caused was causing them to actually disbelieve. They were starting to lose their faith in the great journey. And if you're going to maintain an army, you need to make sure that people are actually interested in what you're doing, have faith in your goal. And they did not have that anymore. They were starting to lose it. So Prophet of Truth and Tartarus work together to figure out this problem. And the final goal, basically, is for Tartarus to prepare his brutes to just wipe out the Sangheli off of High Charity, off of all of their ships, and eventually off their homeworld.
They could have done it.
No.
I know. I know all too well.
One-on-one fisticuffs, the brutes win. The problem is the Sangheli are smarter.
Yeah.
So they don't get into one-on-one very often. Which, granted, they do have a slight chance when they have energy swords, but before that, on ground combat, they have very little chance. But in space, I mean, Shipmaster, they outnumber us 3-1. Then it is an even fight.
I think I already know the answer to this, but I wonder who really had better gunplay between the two.
Better? Honestly, I would say that the elites had it, but I would probably say that neither of them really had that good.
No, what are the elites? This is. I feel like this could be a whole another episode.
Well, the elites, they have the plasma rifle.
But I'm thinking like not like the carbine, right?
They also have that.
Okay, the carbine's pretty nice.
The carbine is great, but they also have the plasma rifle, the blue one.
That's the burst one, right?
No, that's the one that's one-handed.
Oh yeah, the one that got taken out.
Yeah. You're talking about the.
Yeah, they need to bring that back.
Plasma. Why do I keep forgetting what that weapon is from Halo Infinite? The burst rifle that you actually
Pulse
like.
carbine.
Pulse carbine.
That's
Ain't nobody like the pulse carbine.
When you are in the perfect situation to use it, it works.
And how often does that happen?
Not often. It has to be like perfect mid-range gunfight that like the other person doesn't have a precision weapon.
The gun is buns.
So if someone's fighting with you with an AR, it can shred. And sometimes I have beat BRs with it if they're not a great shot.
It should have honestly just been a Covenant BR.
I think it should have been kept in the campaign.
They should just made it a Covenant carbine, plasma carbine, whatever you want to call it.
But the Sangheli had those. The brutes had a red version of the plasma rifle that shot faster and overheated faster.
Mm-hmm.
But they also had the spiker, brute shot, gravity hammer.
The Mangler.
The Mangler and the Mauler both
Okay.
are brutes, but the Mangler came out. I'm pretty sure that was like post Covenant War stuff. The Mauler though, that was there. That was a handheld shotgun.
This one's got the knife in the bottom, right?
Yeah,
that's what
I'm going to guess though that it, in terms of gunplay, it would probably end up going to the elites just because brutes don't have shields.
Yeah, shields would play a lot.
Mm-hmm. Brutes do have a lot of resiliency. They're tough cookies, but headshot is,
Yeah.
So anyway, prophets and their delusion. I think the final place on that is the story works no matter what. It's just you kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit more if it's the case that the prophets are just, oh no, well, that's not good.
Whoopsie daisy.
Instead of it being like, those bastards.
Make an example of this bungalow.
The council demands it.
Of this bungalow.
I straight up love that whole scene. Just the way that they perform. I still love
every Halo 2 cutscene is a slice of gold.
It's so freaking good because the way they talk, man, it's so good. We need writing like that again,
You're right.
Bring that guy back.
You're right.
Yeah.
Bring that guy back.
Regret?
No, the guy who wrote Halo 2.
Oh, Joseph Staten.
Yeah.
Mm. That's a bit of a tall order.
They're Microsoft. They can afford them.
They did, and then they kind of screwed the guy. He came back for Halo Infinite. He was the creative director.
Oh, that's cool.
For a year.
They can afford him.
He's over there trying to revolutionize gaming with Netflix right now.
That's respectable.
I actually am looking forward to it because I've said this before. Every game that Joseph Staten touches gets a little better and sometimes becomes fantastic. Recore, Sunset Overdrive, freaking Tell Me Why, Chapter 1. Check them all out, dude. They're so freaking good. But he's now the creative director over at Netflix Gaming, making the first AAA games from Netflix. So we'll see what that looks like.
I really can't wait to hear how much money Netflix puts into a single game.
It'll be really interesting. It'll be really interesting for sure.
And how long until they put out a mobile game?
Any final thoughts on prophets? Maybe which ones seem more delusional than others, other than Mercy's dementia ridden head?
I don't know if Mercy counts.
That's pretty cool.
I think they're all.
Teach me the power of bladder control.
I mean, I can be convinced that Truth knows more, obviously, than he's letting on.
I think so. Yeah.
He seems like he's just rather manipulative. I think by Halo 3 he has lost it. But yeah,
that's actually kind of that's an interesting in between that the other prophets didn't know, but he did.
That's what I think that's interesting.
That's curious. Truth being the tell him why Truth is such a bullshit.
Like he said, I like to twist myself.
But that you already know.
But Truth likes to twist himself to the masses because you, that's why.
Seriously, that's actually Halo Dubs was ahead of its time on this conversation. To Spearhead's Halo Dubs, check them out. They're hilarious.
They dress pretty cool, I guess.
Is that your final thought, Connor?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about the prophets.
You have a question about the prophets?
Their crowns are made of gold.
Do their names have to do with like any of the stuff you've been talking about?
Well, the interesting thing about their names is that they're just the opposite of what they are. The prophet of mercy never shows mercy and is equally not given mercy when he's going to die. And Truth doesn't give him the mercy that is just inherent in his name. The prophet of truth always tells lies and always is deceiving, which is funny because it's not always been that way. He actually was a rather honest person before he became the prophet of truth. And then the prophet of regret has no regrets. He will do the most. He has done the most on a whim. With Halo Wars, he sent an entire force plus the Arbiter to go secure.
So they call him that because he should regret.
Yes.
I can relate to that guy.
Like he wanted to get a secure Forerunner Dreadnought, not Dreadnoughts. They're these other larger ships. Don't remember what class they are, but they're massive and they're indestructible. He wanted to secure that, so he did that without the approval of the other two prophets, supposedly. And he went to Earth because there was a signal there. He didn't know that Earth was the home world of the human race. So he was met with surprise, which that whole situation is awful because he didn't mean to be there. He didn't have a force that was even close to being the size of Reach's, and he still completely annihilated humanity's defenses. Just oopsie daisy, that's the humans. You didn't even have a full-size force.
This won't come back to bite us back at all.
What's kind of interesting, though, is that their older names actually tie in a little bit, I think, as well. I don't remember all of them, but I do know that Ord Casto, Prophet of Truth, used to be the Minister of Fortitude. And I think that word also ties in very well to his character. So, yes, their names, much like a lot of the deeper portions of Halo's writing from the original games, is very much indicative of their character and their purpose within the story. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I was just curious if their names were somehow a part of their delusion.
Yeah, I don't actually know where they got their names from. I don't know if that's like a council thing or they're just like, I am the Prophet of Truth. That sounds baller.
What should I do? Ooh, regret.
I'm the Prophet of Mercy.
Yeah, you are. You rock that name.
And not yet. It's Patreon time. Yes, it is.
I'm not going to do this time.
So we're going to start off with our usual at the top tier. And then after we're done with this, we'll go into the Q&A and then some final updates from JSM. I'm using slang. It's JumperScape Media. All right. Jacob Adlam, Scion Esports, love you guys. It's Default 456, Dark Salad 42, Knight of Honor, Boomerang, Hounds of Meath, Linda Marie.
A real one.
Mariah Carey.
No!
I love those memes that are just dudes doing their normal thing. They just and they're just
Hey, no.
My favorite was one of Michael Myers, just walking outside, and he just
Halloween, seeing Christmas as a threat is always my favorite thing. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is the best reindeer alive. My nuts hurt. Two separate people, I promise. Seth Rutherford, Spartan Dave, the one, the only, Rick Rammertush.
Rick Rammertush.
I don't know. I tried to reverse it.
Oh no.
No.
I had something completely different planned for that. And then it came all messed up and I had to go along with it.
Cool Blazer. Spartan Nabucco G156, Stably Unstable, Unholy God, Clover, Eater of Pickles, Connor Clark, Dapper Dame, Dylan. I am Steve. Lactating Gator, Lactating Milk MT, Last on Reactions, the last Lactation of Mercy, the soggy Subway footlong you left in your dad's truck, Thomas Lane, Sky Cairo, Don't Call Me Old, Spartan 092, Eva, Flyboy, Ho Ho Ho, 'Tis the Season, Pfeiffer, Installation Lactation, Jake Somali, Keith 077, Kid Puncher 2006, Mr. Shifter, James Zealot, My Name is Austin, and Prophet of Lactation, Random Svid, Shade Communications, Spooky Nuts, Tucker, Wyatt, Zealot of Lactation, Take a Mai, a Judgmental Swee. All I want for Christmas is for Mariah Carey to stop asking me out on the radio. I'm not interested. As you know, holy shit, Shane's birthday. Happy birthday, dude.
Now he's not even here to hear it.
Not even here to hear it.
No.
Aussie ODST. Damian Groth, happy birthday, Shane. Hope you have an amazing day. Hope you have an amazing day, buddy. I'm currently locked in a sea container. Please help. That's rough. Laughing Sam, Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Pity 107, the chaplain, the oldest living Halo fan. The summoning circle for Mariah Carey has been drawn. Prepare.
Oh. Not even Thanksgiving yet, you animals.
Sing it, Austin. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Alex Spartan, number 30. Claude Spark, 5970. Ha ba 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 da ba da herp derp merp derp meesmaz gaz das kadidel. Halo the guy. I fucking hate Halo 5. I the ghost of Ismaz have come to haunt you. Iskari, Jingle Bells, Kigyar smells, Spartan saved the day. Kiri, Kyle Hooley, Matt Jeremy, Remington, Cloutier, Spartan Johnson Stick and the Communal Rock, Spartan MA5K, UNSC Proportional Response, and last but not least, he's back. Warm Apple Smiles. Yay! Anyway, I think we're ready for some Q&A. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Cheyenne, if you could.
No.
Please.
He said no, guys. We gotta end it here.
Okay. First off, we have the Spooky Slipstream asking, what movie moment in the MCU made you lose your guys' minds?
Lose my mind?
Yeah, lose your mind. The grammar there is interesting. Mine was when Cap lifted the hammer.
A moment in the MCU that made us lose our minds. I'll probably need a sec here because
I can think of a moment I thoroughly enjoyed.
Go for it.
Hulk and Loki scene.
Puny God.
I'm going to be a real hipster.
Okay.
Kid me was enthralled by the scene where Iron Man dodges the tank shell and then shoots a little itty bitty missile at the tank and then it explodes.
Tank missile.
Iron Man 1 when that movie came out was
Went
peak.
hard.
And I want to go back to those times. Iron Man 1. Back when the MCU was amazing.
It really made me lose my mind.
I feel like
oops, sorry. No, it's fine. I think so. Before the Avengers were a thing, right? It was after Iron Man, but before Avengers. I watched a lot of Earth's Mightiest Heroes and a lot of other Avengers cartoons. I loved Captain America like a lot. He was my favorite aside from Hawkeye, but Captain America was always, let's do this. Just the montage of Cap doing Cap things in the first Captain America film to this day gets me hype because I love seeing Cap being Cap and capping people with his gat.
An American hero with a pistol.
An American hero who uses a true American firearm, the 1911.
45 ACP, baby.
It's God's caliber.
That won 2 world wars. Beat that, Glock. How many world wars you been in?
How to do in Vietnam.
You know.
Ice him.
All right. Next question, please.
Okay. From Spooky Nut.
Sick.
Here's an odd question. Favorite Halo weapon, reticle / crosshair?
Oh, reticle.
Oh shit, I gotta think on this.
Either Halo 2 BR or this is going to be oddly specific.
Okay.
Halo 2 Anniversary Energy Sword.
What's different about the anniversary one?
I hope I'm remembering this right, but it was the classic half ring, but instead of the arrow in the middle, they both just hook down into the arrow.
That's kind of neat. I have no idea. I don't remember. Well, you already said energy sword, so I can't take that from you, but I do have another one. I have such a fascination with the golf club reticle.
Big dotted circle.
Yeah, just
big circle.
I love it so much. It's fun.
It's where you place the golf ball.
It's great. It's perfect. I love it. I will always love that reticle a whole lot. If I were to pick a legitimate one, though, I think my absolute favorite, just off of design, probably is going to end up being the Brute Shot. I just like how that one looks a whole lot. It's pretty.
Do you have a favorite reticle?
Gravity hammer.
Shocker. Next question.
He likes those 3 lines.
I was gonna go with the.
Oh wait, let's go with what's your least favorite?
Oh, least favorite reticle?
Like, what's the most boring?
Sniper.
Oh, not even most boring. My least favorite is the Halo 4 BR.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Any AR.
It's just a big blocky circle.
It's huge for no reason.
And it's not satisfying. I don't know what it is. The classic BR reticle makes it better.
Mm-hmm.
Makes the gun better.
I'm going to say Combat Evolved Magnum reticle is just terrible. Not a fan of it at all. I don't like it in the slightest. It's classic. It's the circle with... But it's so freaking big, and the shots go outside of the reticle.
Big.
You're right. That's God's caliber.
Least favorite?
Yes. Yes.
Let's go with the AR.
Which one?
Any of them.
Dang.
I just hate the AR.
That's because you're trash with it.
Nah. It just don't hit.
Halo Infinite's AR is so good. I don't understand when you get on the Halo Infinite's AR sucks.
I have wanted to punch a hole through my monitor on multiple occasions because I would get the first shot, spray at a 15-foot distance, and you know who dies first? This guy.
Are you aiming for the head?
Every damn time. I'm sorry.
Because the AR has a headshot multiplier.
No, I
would hope, but anytime I shoot the guy, the circle just gets bigger and bigger.
Try feathering.
No,
This is what I'm talking about. Mouse and keyboard players. This is your representative.
I mix between the two. I mix between mouse and keyboard and controller.
All right, now next question.
Next, please.
Are you still taking questions where it's like this number of whatever from a certain franchise against Spartans?
Let's try it.
If it's not Warhammer, sure.
I don't think it is.
Does it have any mention of Space Marines?
No.
Then let's go for
Okay.
it.
So, squad of 6 Predators versus 3 Spartan 2s.
The 2s take it.
Yeah,
I'm not even going to think about it. The 2s take it.
No, they take it.
like
Predators are basically just spec up elites
And also,
without as much armor.
And we
normal
can't-
humans can take them down, right?
They have.
Granted,
It's not-
someone in prehistoric times took one out.
well,
There was right. I didn't watch that movie. Did that actually happen?
I don't know. This
don't
is the
know.
guy to talk to.
You didn't watch it?
No, I've
Gosh,
never.
I'm just gonna go with what everyone else says.
I know,
And
he's the movie guy.
I'm the movie. He's a horror movie guy.
I'm also a movie guy.
I am a movie guy. He's the horror movie guy though.
Yeah, and I don't
Predators-
really care for Predator.
Dang. Okay. Jeez, that's so sad.
That was like, it's not like I said Predator sucks.
I know, but it's just.
I think Coolsville sucks.
I have a
I
feeling.
think your memes suck.
I have a feeling we've made some people mad with some of our answers.
Probably.
today.
Here, I'll explain it though. First and foremost, Spartan 2s are stronger than normal human beings, and normal human beings have killed predators. Second of all, final point, Spartans, though we can't use them in game, have multi-layer visor systems, including ultraviolet and thermomagnetic and all these other vision modes. They would see the predator. Not thermomagnetic. I don't know what that term was. That was not a real thing. Anyway, we're good for the next question.
Okay. Last question was from Judicans, by the way. I forgot to read their name.
Thank you,
have
Judicans.
We have another one from Spooky Nuts.
Oh, good.
What's your guys' favorite video game character trope?
Character trope.
I don't know if this
Strong.
counts as a trope,
It's
but I
hard.
love in games
Big gun.
with dialogue wheels, I love the awkward pauses
Just
where it's like you just have someone going, wow, that's awesome. What else do you think?
This is where I love Cyberpunk, by the way, because they have little bits. If you take forever to answer, the characters will react. Probably one of my favorite. I don't have a favorite, but there are examples of, like, let's say like Judy, you're talking to her, and if you just pause, she's like, "You gonna say something?" It's just staring at you.
Speaking of, I love how if you stare at Carter long enough, he'll just say, This was brought up in your file.
Yeah.
So like that just means, does Noble Six regularly just like blankly stare at you and not say anything?
I mean, for a dude who just makes people disappear overnight, of course he does.
just
So, tropes. I think when it comes to tropes, I'm probably gonna go for the characters that are required to give the tutorial, and they're sometimes just ditched after that. They're my favorite. Freaking Trask Algo from KOTOR 1.
or when they'll in universe be saying things like press the A button.
Yeah, that's the best.
Dude,
I
that
love
always
that.
throws me off every time. Like, how do you know?
One of my earliest gaming memories is actually Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone on PC. I learned my right from left and remembered my right from left because of the fact that when I walked into Hogwarts for the first time, camera zooms in on Ron, who looks like a thumb, and because it's old classic graphics, and Ron's just, the common rooms are just over here on the right. Follow me, and then he goes to the right, and I'm like, that's the right. So I remembered right from left for my entire life because of Ron Weasley from the PC port of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone, whatever you want to call it. British people.
Very British people.
And what is it? Isn't it Philosopher's Stone? Like that's what it's actually named elsewhere outside of the US, and it's Sorcerer's Stone everywhere else.
Yeah, it's a trope in like a lot of stuff to have the Philosopher's Stone. If you can think of like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I've read a series, it's like the Nicholas Flamel series or something like that, where it focuses on the alchemist who made the Philosopher's Stone. It's a thing. So like calling it the Sorcerer's Stone is kind of lame. I might be a little bit salty about that right now though, because I'm trying to read a series that has a completely different series name from what it is in the UK and I think also Australia. And so like some of the books I'm like trying to put them into Goodreads and it's called something completely different. And I'm just like, what book is next? Please.
That sort of stuff is always funny to me. Actually, just a random fun fact off of that. You guys know Bully, the video game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, from Rockstar. Bully in the UK they couldn't have the word bully in there. That's against the rules. So it was renamed to Canis Canem Edit. You're still beating up kids and all of that, but you can't call it bully.
Canis Canem Edit.
It's like a Latin thing. It's hilarious.
I think unless you do side objectives in that game, bullying is completely optional.
But you're going to do it.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't want to throw firecrackers at their teachers and fellow students?
I remember, like, that was my first time. I decided to try bully at one point. It was just, my friend was playing it. Don't even remember which friend it was. And I decided to play it. And I remember feeling like, I'm such a bad kid. And I'm like 7.
I'm going to play it now. And I'm going to be like, I'm such a bad kid. And I'm 26.
Like, me and my brother, he was watching me. He would watch me play, and at one point in time, I don't know when he did this, but he must have looked it up at some point and looked up how to put in cheat codes into the game.
Nice.
I'll be playing, and to put cheat codes in, you need a second controller to put the code in. So I'd be playing like, Riley, I need some ammo. Oh, I just said his name. Like, brother, I need some ammo. All right.
That's awesome. How about our final question?
Okay, so the one that's like next in the list asks about the fan fiction thing from the reviews.
Thing that we've sort of like sidestepped away from.
Yes.
Shane's not here.
He's not here. It's just a question about it. You can just skip that one. I'll mark it.
Okay.
We're gonna come back to that one.
Probably not.
Have another question from Spooky Nuts.
This guy's on a roll right now.
Nuts.
What's a scene from a movie you watched that has stuck with you ever since you watched the movie?
Stuck with me in a positive way.
Let's go positive.
Okay.
My brain still goes, okay, I can do positive.
Oh, yeah, this is super easy. The one scene that has straight up encapsulated the way that I try to even look at life and how I live it. The scene from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse where Miles Morales jumps off the skyscraper. And it's like that whole moment. That is stuck. It is very stuck. It is extremely stuck. Plus that soundtrack that goes with it is just banging.
James?
I can't think of anything.
Dang, I was trying to save mine for last. But anyway.
All I can think of are things that stuck with me because I can't get them out of my head.
No, like significant scene or message or moment that was just, oh my gosh.
Terrifier 2 Salt and Bleach scene.
I need to watch that movie.
Anyone who knows.
I'm going to uplift us a little bit and go with the speech from Optimus Prime at the end of the first Transformers.
Oh, I thought of one.
Sorry. With Prime Megan Fox. I had to mention that.
That's fair. I just find it funny, like, we are watching in secret, and they're just making out on top of Bumblebee. Like, it's so weird.
Bumblebee just...
I thought of one.
Yeah.
The beginning of Up.
Oh,
That is too happy.
It
It is too happy, and then they just strip it away.
it's so sweet.
I can't think of that and feel good because I know what happens next.
Curse you, passage of time.
I can't like anytime I hear that piano, I'm like already bawling.
Yeah. That whole piece is beautiful. And plus, actually, it does a pretty darn good job because I love it for the fact that it sets you up to be joyous and happy right there alongside our main character. Can't remember his name for some reason.
Mr. Fredrickson.
Mr. Fredrickson.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm pretty sure
Carl.
his first name is Carl.
Carl, yeah. It's straight up Carl.
I know someone who walked down the aisle to that song for their wedding, and they
That's
decorated
ominous.
stuff with balloons.
That's really cute, but also is sort of an omen.
Right? It's like that's super cute, but also
Do we not know what happens next?
I mean, that's the thing, though, is you're witnessing their happily married life. Yeah, it ends sad, but ultimately they lived a happy life.
there's a lot of sad stuff in the middle too.
That's life.
That's
That's life,
just what-
though.
yeah,
That's what makes it so beautiful.
They have a happy marriage. Sure, they have a miscarriage somewhere in the middle.
Actually, for her
Her life was
birthday,
cut short.
for her birthday, I made Astrid a scrapbook, and I did the adventure book.
That's cute.
Yeah.
The way that I've always seen it, at least as I when I say always these days, I mean since I was 19, because 19 and I did not think about anything, but now I'm actually thinking about things.
Never have.
You get to be there and be happy and go through these things with these characters, and then when it all goes downhill, you emotionally are thrust into the exact same mindset as Carl. So then, as Carl is just grumpy and upset and angry and sad, you're right there with him. You completely relate to him, and you completely get why he bashed that stupid Fed on the head.
Hey, you in the suit. Take a bath, hippie. That's still my favorite.
Oh, man. Carl didn't deserve it, man.
I remember I was not ready to see blood in a Pixar movie. as a
Right? That was
kid.
so wild. I was expecting like purple, but no.
No.
He broke that man's head. He broke him in half.
And then tossed them off an airship.
It's fine.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
We can hide that on the ground or below
Oh, well.
Yeah,
you
but
know.
some boots have blood in it.
in trees.
I haven't seen it. I'm still going through the whole Shrek franchise, okay? I know, okay? I know.
He just saw Shrek 2 this year. You expect him to have seen
That was
Puss
my
in
first
Boots.
time seeing it. It was in
I
theaters.
forgot.
Hey, I'm just glad that my first experience of Shrek
OG
2 was in
Puss in
theaters.
Boots is skippable. You can skip the original.
But I was
Puss in
told
Boots.
it's an important thing to watch.
You don't really need to watch it.
I'm going to watch it. She thinks I should.
Okay. There are characters that help. One character, but The Last Wish is so much better.
Did you see that Shrek released the official watch order?
No.
On Twitter. They just the Shrek official Twitter posts just, babe, wake up, the official Shrek watch order is just dropped, and it's just in the replies the entirety of
I'm
the
so
Shrek
ready.
franchise. It's so funny.
I mean, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish is literally in my top 5 animated movies.
Short podcast where we go through the Shrek
Oh
movies.
gosh.
Yes.
There's so many possible
Do green
shows.
lighting.
There's so many possible shows, guys.
I think little spin-offs would be fun just here and there.
We've had a couple ideas come and go.
I have so many.
It's more about like I've got so much to market.
Trek.
I'll add it to the list. I'll see what happens. Now, speaking of us, JSM updates. First of all, Chatternet is live, has been live for the past 2 weeks. If you haven't checked it out yet, look on Spotify, look on not YouTube yet, everywhere else. Chatternet is live. It's just Chatternet Daily Halo Radio Show. And that's exactly what it is. At 9 a.m. every day, new episode goes live, and it's talking about all sorts of stuff from every corner of the Halo franchise for you to get your daily dose of Halo without all of the bells and whistles of how potentially horrible the community can be. You get to just enjoy Halo, listen to it while you play through a campaign in your morning or something. Just have some fun with it, because we had a lot of fun putting it together. 14 hosts come together to make this show possible, and these guys are on it.
I'm there.
I am.
What's your show, James?
Community Blitz, where I originally was going to do community highlights, but it's slowly turned into Drama Alert.
Connor, what's your show?
External gaming news.
He just remembered the like actual Spark Note on. Yeah, he talks about everything that's not related to Halo or Xbox.
It's a title that I go by. It's on paper. I'm going to say it out.
Wait, what's the title of your show?
The Slush.
Oh, like, okay.
You get it.
I was
You
down
get
in
it.
the slush and they were all talking about
Mishak Maradi, I love you.
Shock.
I love how he's actually like a famous actor now.
What a guy.
He's great. And my show, temporarily, I don't want it, is Durant's Domain. It's the Halo lore segment. I'm looking for people to take over, so please DM me with your submissions and I will give you the host privileges. Like in Minecraft. The other show that I host, though, is the After Action. It is basically the After Action report for the entire show. It's a reference off of the After Action report in matchmaking. I just tell you what you were listening to this past 2 weeks, give you a little bit of updates on some things that may have been missed if new updates came out, and then I tell you to get on to the next one tomorrow. And there you go.
Yeah.
So that's all there. Otherwise,
Speaking of getting on, get on the podcast. I'm James.
no, not now. That would be wild.
Wouldn't that be kind of funny?
That would be crazy.
Just, yeah, that's on
Nonstop.
Thursdays.
Just tie it in, just like you say. Speaking of get on, and then to go to the next one. Get on the podcast. Maybe we should have.
Next week.
Next week.
All
right. Well, speaking of next week we are going to be talking about. Guys, stall for time.
How about them Browns?
The achievement one. I don't remember the name.
It's called. It's whoa. Why is
Unlocked and Loaded.
Unlocked and Loaded. Yes, it is Unlocked and Loaded. And he just did Thanks a Killian, which was pretty cool. Okay, the next episode, hopefully this time actually featuring Matt Forbeck, will be about the Assembly and the Created. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for listening today. Head on over to JumperScape.com if you want to find more ways to interact with us or just find more stuff to do, because there's tons to do on the website as well as the Discord. And if you want to not miss out on events, you're going to want to join that Discord, because coming up, actually, we have a celebrating 10 years of Halo, the Master Chief Collection on November 9th. So we would love to have you join us on that, because we'll have all sorts of activities going on. It's not just a game night. It's going to have a lot of different, think of it like if you had an online class and you had breakout rooms. It's like that. it's that
but
concept.
hopefully better.
It's not, well, I liked my breakout rooms.
I never did.
I hated breakout rooms. You know, I was like, and now we're gonna go out into breakouts, and then like they do it, and then you'd be like, "Hey guys."
It helped that I knew everyone in my class, so I was happy with that.
I didn't know anyone.
I was friends with almost everybody. I had that advantage. I understand though.
Only the athletes I knew, and even then, there was just one team of people.
Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, whatever it is you're doing, and we'll see you guys next week.
The library was produced and published by JumperScape Audio. Funding was provided by our fantastic patrons on Patreon. If you enjoy the show and wish to support JumperScape's future projects or get some sweet benefits, join our Patreon at patreon.com/JumperScape or become part of this truly special community at discord.gg/JumperScape. Thank you for your listenership, and we hope you enjoyed.